Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based here in the United Kingdom. And I'm back again with a project for you today. And being Father's Day here in June in the UK, I thought I'd make one using one of the fabulous new stamp sets, Sailing Home. And this stamp set is absolutely beautiful. Lovely detailed masculine sort of sailing images, but for anybody who loves the seaside actually. And you've got lovely rubber, fabulous rubber stamps from Stampin' Up! And some gorgeous dies that not only cut out the images but also do some accents as well. So you've got ones to cut out the lighthouse and the anchor and the boats, but you've also got little accent pieces like this for a little banner. You've got some seaweed images, bits to cut out the pointers on the compass, but then some lovely rope trims as well. So I'm going to mainly use the sailing images today, and this is a stable door card, which I've done stable door cards before, but this one is a double one. So you've actually got just a couple of little flaps, and the reason I did that is because you don't always want whatever you write to be visible, and this way you can actually open it up and have your sentiment there, and when it closes up and you have it on display, you'll find that image stays pretty much closed as well. The Happy Father's Day is from the Coordinating Memories and More card pack. Great, you know, there's paper that goes with this suite as well, but these are just some of the things that you've got with those. And the really exciting thing in here are the laser cut panels. So you have got beautiful ship's wheels, a couple of smaller ones, there's a lovely lighthouse, and of course there's all the usual embellishments. There goes a seaside one, more embellishments, lovely background of seaweed. So you know, that's another fabulous addition to your stash, and certainly if you have males in your family, a really useful one to have. And not only do I have males in my family, I have a sailor in my family. My husband loves sailing. And all I've used to colour is some ink and some blends. So let's get on. So the basic card construction, I'm going to work in centimetres, and I've cut a piece of card to 14.6 centimetres, and it's full A4, so that makes it 29.7. So I've cut it to 14.5-ish, and then I'm going to score it at 9.9 from both ends. Hopefully you can see that. So just 9.9, flip it round, and 9.9. That's you've got 3 equal panels then. Okay, and then turn it to portrait and line it up at 7.25. If you've done it to 14.5 or 7.3. That's why I said 14.6, it just makes it easier. And you're going to cut from the top down to the first score line. Oh, that's decided to play up. And from the bottom up. I've obviously got something stuck in my track just there. So take that out. Pop that to one side. We'll need to cut some more panels in a moment. But I'm just going to cut with this up to the score line. And then what you want to do is cut this top panel away and this bottom panel away. So just use the score line as your guide, and just keep these pieces of card to one side because they're going to be your stamping panels. So nothing goes to waste. Possibly could have trimmed that one a little. In fact, I could have done a really rubbish job of cutting down on that score line. I'm just going to come slightly to the side of it. There we go. Okay. And just take your bone folder and just reinforce those. As you can see, I still haven't cleaned my bone folder from when I used it with my inks. So you should find that those then just come together on the front. That one I've just not quite scored as well as I might. Just going to line that up and just reinforce again. Okay. If you've ever got a bit of a ragged edge there, I usually have a nail file block handy, but you can just, if you just take your scissors, that will usually do the trick as well. So that just needs a little bit of filing. Okay, so for the centrepiece, you're going to need some Night of Navy cardstock, and you want to cut a piece that is 14 centimetres in length. So just move that down slightly so you can see. And then by 9, I'm going to do it to 9.5. It's 9.4 if it was half a centimetre all round, but you know, it's close enough. So that will just fit in here. Then you want 2 pieces for the top and bottom of here. And those pieces are, again, 9.5 in width. And then they are 6.7. Like so. So again, same again, 9.5 by 6.7. I mean, I will put all of these on my blog as well for you, so that you can pop along to that there. So those are our 2 pieces, and then I said we're going to use our Whisper White pieces, so we need to trim those down. So those are going to be 6.2 and 9. And do the same on our second piece. .2 and 9. Okay. Now, to create the sort of water and clouds effect, it's just an old technique that many of you will be familiar with. I've just taken a scrap piece of card and I have just loosely torn the edge, and I'm using balmy blue for the top. So all I'm going to do is pop a I haven't got my blending mat handy. There we go. I've just got a piece of silicone mat here. That's just to help create like a little ball with sponge, and you just come along and you're not always going in the same place, in the same direction, because what you want to is just kind of that effect of clouds and a kind of a sky effect, you know, and just keep moving that around. And as I say, I always sort of change the angle. You know, you think about the sky, it's not all the same, and then just sort of. And then what I did was I just came in with a little bit of my second colour, Coastal Cabana on the bottom here. I decided which way my clouds are going to be, so I'll have a quick look at it and sort of think, well, actually I quite like it like that, so I'm just going to, and this is just to kind of tie it in with the lower piece on the bottom, and I'm just blending that very quickly with a little bit. So pop that to one side, pop my balmy blue away before I put my elbow in it, fingers, anything else, you know. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with this piece of card. So again, come in, and I did try and kind of create sort of a slightly more sort of up and down effect for my waves here, to kind of get that effect. And again, you know, I just rubbing it on the mat just helps to even out, so you don't get too heavy in any one place. And obviously, you know, it's a technique that I say, gosh, it's been around for absolutely years, but it's quite nice to add a little bit of texture to your images and to backgrounds in particular, and perfectly suits kind of sky and seascape type images. So I can pop those to one side. And what I'm going to do now is decide which way, and that's going to be my waves. Looks like a bit more of a choppy sea there. And I'm just going to attach that I'm still waiting for my snail to arrive. Terrible frustration at the moment, but they'll all be here soon. So as I say, decide which way up your sea is. I'm going to have my sea in that orientation, and I learnt from my last one, once you've decided which way you're going to orient it, pop it on your card, because my last one I actually did upside down. Obviously didn't realise. I haven't got my measurements quite right on that one, I don't think, but never mind. It's near enough. And then do the same with your sky. Yep. Obviously with that one I've already decided which way up because I've popped my popped my bit of coastal cabana on the bottom. Right. So pop that onto the other panel. Really bothering me that I can't find my sanding block. It's looking furrier than I like. Well, never mind. Should have got everything to hand. I'll tell you what, doing videos, it's becoming more difficult with my classes now, so I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break, I think, so I don't stress. There's nothing worse than stressing about it. So once you've done that, you've got your panels of card. You can create a panel to go on the inside here as well, and I would recommend that you just make that 0.5 centimetre smaller and then decorate it as you wish. And then the images that we've got, just use the offcut piece of your card, and you are simply going to stamp, and I'm going to be using blends, so I'm stamping Memento. If you were going to watercolour, you'd want to use your StazOn. So I'm stamping a lighthouse, I'm stamping sticking my inky fingers all over it. Oh dear, it's one of those. Okay. And then these are the new dies from Stampin' Up, and they just hug really nicely around the images. So all I have to do is bring in my magnetic block and pop my images on here, and they just line up, and you can see just hug the image. I'll just show just pop those on. So just line those up. Magnetic plate really does make all the difference. I use my magnetic plates to pretty much all the time. Then just put your second plate on the top, run those through for your images, so bear with me. Okay, so I'll bring in, here's my die cut images, and you can see those are really nicely cut out. And then I'm just going to colour those with some blends. I've already coloured one in advance, so there's a small one, and I've just chosen my smoky slate, light and dark, for quite a bit of it. So my sails, and the reason I colour these in like this, I mean, you could colour them in terracotta kind of colour, old-fashioned canvas sails, but these days most of the sails are sort of Kevlar. I know this because of my husband. I'm going to do all my smoky sort of slate. This is going to kind of be the rocks here, actually. Kind of sort of granite. the kind of railings around the top. Then come in with my dark, just with some accents there. And obviously you could take a bit more time with those. I'm going to do this outer panel quite solid, then just a little bit there. Just blend that in, a little bit more there, and I'm just going to come down a little bit around the outside there. Blend these in again. And then choose your colour for your boat. I'm just going to use a balmy blue. Oh no, Seaside Spray, this one. And then I just came, I'm going to use a bit of the, I'll do a bit of Seaside Spray actually underneath as well. I actually used my Bermuda Bay, which I seem to have put down to one side. And I'm just using my Real Red to come in here. And I've misplaced that. Oh well, okay. So just come in. Quite a solid kind of colour. Just reminds me of those lovely lighthouses in France. I'm just coaling up in those and just adding a little bit there. And then simply what you do now is take your card. Oh, what I haven't done is I haven't done my birds. Oh dear, never mind. Fortunately it's quite a flat card. That's lucky, isn't it? The joy of the new mini dimensional is that these are perfect for images such as these. Just pop a couple on the bottom, like so, and then another one sort of halfway up. And there's my lighthouse. Do the same on the boat. So again, a couple of just dimensional stuff there, and just one again halfway up. That's just in case it's stuff you don't want it to pop over and stick onto the background. So just take those off. Surprising how they soon, look how that comes to life. I always find it lovely when you're putting something together and you're kind of thinking, oh, it just looks a little dull, and then all of a sudden just pop an extra couple of boats on there, and look, there we have a fabulous Father's Day card. Here's my original. You can obviously add different coloured boats, you can colour the sea differently, you can add your own touch to it, add a few more, and then add your sentiment. Mine was for Father's Day, but yours could be for birthday or anything to do with travel. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me soon, and don't forget, if you'd like to purchase some products, pop along to my Stampin' Up shop, heidismith.stampinup.net, and make your purchases. Bye now.